Yeah. Guess so.
We're starting out with Gary yawning. It's a good night, folks, I promise. Hi, Videoland. How you doing? Okay, so I thought should we do non-Star Wars first? Or should we do Star Wars first?
Well, we should start with Bill Paxton.
We could do that.
And then we could do the Alien Covenant trailer, and then do the two Star Wars bits.
Okay. Do we want to talk at all about the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer, too?
We can talk about it briefly. We'll keep these all short. We'll do all four.
I think we can do all four. And
just remember to announce all four at the beginning.
Correct. Thank you. I realized that after I did last time.
Testing. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
3.
Testicles.
Is that? You sure that's like stop? Everyone, stop making noise. But it's still doing it. It's not like.
Yeah, it's. Let me make sure. No, it's doing it off the webcam. That's why. There we go. Check.
Yeah, that's better.
3.
Valid point. Okay, you ready? I gotta press record.
Duh.
Okay, here we go. Hey, GalaxyCast fans! Welcome to this episode of the GalaxyCast. I have with me
3
people in the studio. I have with me Eric the artist.
Game over, man.
I have with me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna screw that up. I shouldn't. All right, time out. Start over. I have with me Gary the Stud.
That'll be me.
And I am Bob Chrisman, your host. So we have to talk about, well, a rather sad subject to start off the podcast, but we want to get this out of the way because, well, it was a sad moment this past week. I was totally taken away. I think it was Sunday, correct? When we were,
I believe so.
That we heard news that Bill Paxton, at the age of 65?
61.
Wow, he was even younger than, okay.
Yep.
61, passed away. And I was just, that just shocked the heck out of me. It almost took it kind of was like a slap across the face, a moment where it took the wind right out of your sails, and you're like, wow. I mean, like, I did not expect to hear that Bill Paxton passed. Now, supposedly he was having surgery.
There were complications.
And he died. Do we know what he was having surgery for?
I heard at one point heart surgery, but I'm not sure.
So it might have been a version of heart surgery.
Maybe he was getting something cleaned out. Maybe he was getting a stent. Maybe he was having a irregular heartbeat. Who knows? I mean, if it wasn't heart, it's none of this. But that's what I heard, and that could be a lot of things. My dad had heart conditions his whole life, so if there's one thing I've had a lot of experience with is someone being in and out of the hospital having heart dealings.
Hey, my wife keeps telling me if you're going to make it for another 20 years for a marriage, you better do something about your heart there, honey. Yeah. So I totally get it. And
I had heard that he had a stroke while during the operation.
Yeah.
So.
And
is that what happened? He had a stroke
during
the operation.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow, that's tough to... But it was sad. It was sad because Bill Paxton's done so much. I mean, like, when you sit down and think about the breadth of this man's work, it's unbelievable. And he's been all over the map. I mean, that's the cool thing that I always loved about Bill Paxton. He's done sci-fi films. I mean, he did Weird Science, I guess, would be more in the comedic category, right?
He was Chet.
And Twister, I mean, like, that's the one I'll always remember Bill Paxton from, for me, is Twister, because I loved his role in Twister, and I still love the whole discussion of the scene when he walked out naked to the Twister and threw the bottle of Jack Daniels at the Twister, and it sucked it right up and never let it hit the ground.
Did you see the tribute the Storm Chasers gave him?
No. Did they give him a tribute?
What they did was, with their GPS devices being able to be pinged from a satellite, they spelled out the giant in the Midwest across a couple states. They positioned themselves so that when they were all pinged by the satellite, and you see it on a map where all their locations are located, they're a giant letter B and P that is across several states.
Oh,
it's gigantic.
Wow.
And it looked like a tornado.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really touching.
It took me back. And then, like we've said, Aliens, I mean, come on, his role in Aliens is killer. I mean, as far as, like, you want some of this, you want some of this,
Well, he goes from being a jerk to someone you root for by the end.
Yeah, by the end of the movie, you're rooting for him.
He's just a side character,
right.
And he has an arc, which is just amazing how much he put into that.
But again, I think it just shows his ability to act and the things that he does, and he just... he'll be sadly missed. In the Hollywood studio realm. I don't think there is another Bill Paxton I can think of. There's nobody like him.
No, and you had
Very
a good
original
point, Gary, today.
Yeah, he's the only actor to be killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's incredible when you think about that. That's I think that just shows the breadth of the guy's acting abilities. The fact that he ended up in all three of those franchises. And I don't think he was really pushy about that. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, two of them, James Cameron. He was one of James Cameron's favorites.
He was.
He was even in True Lies, and for that little part.
Oh, that's right, he was.
So he was the waiter who pretended to be a spy.
Yeah, he was the car salesman. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
And then I saw a cartoon
where they rip out of the trailer.
Yeah, they rip the trailer in half and take it. I saw a cartoon someone did online where it's the Predator, the Terminator, and the Alien all at his grave, and the alien's pouring out a 40. And it was kind of nice.
That's pretty cool. So we honor Bill Paxton, and I hope you all do too. And he was just an incredible actor, and it'll be a sad loss
between him and Carrie Fisher. Within just a couple months,
that's tough for the sci-fi world. I think that's tough.
It's a big loss.
So we wanted to talk about some non-Star Wars things, and actually, before we even talk about non-Star Wars things, let's talk quick about what we are going to talk about tonight. Beyond Bill Paxton, we're going to talk about the Alien Covenant trailer. We're going to talk about the latest drop of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer. Then we're going to talk about the Aftermath, Empire's End, and what it's hinting at. And then we're going to talk about the trademark of Star Wars Rivals, and what does that mean for us? So we just watched the Aliens Covenant trailer. What do you guys think? Good trailer, bad trailer? Was that cool? Do you have some stipulations about the trailer? I mean, like what I know you guys haven't. Have you seen Prometheus, Gary? I know no. Eric hasn't. I have. So maybe that would change your viewpoint slightly. But does this make you want to go see an Aliens movie again, or is this maybe not so much?
Well, it's clear in this trailer. If you haven't seen it and you're trying to avoid trailers, spoilers. We're going to talk about the trailer.
Okay, well, it's all over
there
Facebook. It's kind of hard not to.
There is a xenomorph. Clear, bright sunlight.
Yep.
It's very clear that the aliens are back in a Ridley Scott movie.
Right.
So this is very clearly an Alien prequel, landing firmly in the sci-fi horror genre. And I don't know. I was so excited about all the Alien movies for a while. I saw one. I didn't see one when I was a kid. It terrified me. I remember.
I wasn't old enough.
Let me
to
go
see
way
one.
back. I remember sitting in bed one day. We were watching all day the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Oh, jeez.
And the trailer for Alien came on, and all it was that egg.
Yep,
where the light would be coming out of it, and it had that music going, kwah, kwah, and it was all weird. I ran from the room. I was terrified as a kid of that commercial. So it took me years before I saw the movie. Saw the movie, loved it, went and saw Aliens in the theater, snuck in by having people we didn't even know in line pretend to be me and two of my friends' parents. All three of us high school kids the same age who look nothing alike, and these are our parents. So we got in, and we saw that in the theater. Saw Alien 3 in the theater. Actually, I am not one of the haters on Alien 3. I can enjoy it for what it is. David Fincher did a pretty cool,
I don't think it was awful, yeah.
But if you read the stories behind that one, it was tumultuous getting that made. Hated 4. The one with Winona Ryder.
I hated that one too.
They tried to recapture aliens, and yet it was to me, it was ridiculous and went way off the rails. Then I never saw Prometheus. So I'm one off from the series. But I've lost my thrill for alien movies.
I think you should give Prometheus a shot, though, because it's not really... It's an alien movie, but it's not. And that's actually what I like about it, because it hints at the alien.
Okay, so you've seen that. Are you happy the alien's coming back? It's another alien movie now.
No, I actually don't mind, and I'll tell you why. Because in the trailer, and you haven't made the connection, but the one ship they showed is the Prometheus ship. So I think what they're trying to tell us is the planet they landed on to terraform, because that's the implication here, is the planet the Prometheus landed on, which then is not the first planet that they encountered these. So we're talking it's later.
Okay.
It's a little later than I think people are thinking. And it's a prequel, but not like they haven't met the aliens yet. They've already met them, but
so you think they're
trying to decipher.
You think they're going to recognize the species? They're going to know they're dealing with something that other... Okay.
Yeah, and that might be what's throwing you guys off, because in Prometheus, by the end, they were starting to figure out what this thing is. It was odd because they knew, but they didn't know. You know what I mean? And there were data logs and stuff, and I'm wondering if that's what they're going to run across. Like, they're going to run across the data logs and all that. Not to spoil the movie. It really doesn't really spoil the movie, per se. It's just... It's not as prequel as everybody likes to think. It's like... You know what I mean? So it's somewhere between finding the first alien and realizing that they're
So you
more
think
dangerous
this?
than
You
what
think
we
this happens after the Nostromo?
I almost
and
think it
Sigourney
does.
Weaver, but before Aliens
Yeah.
and LV.
Yeah, and I know that Ridley Scott has never really said exactly where all this fits in, but the implications from Prometheus is, they call it a prequel, but it's not really. I think it happens after the Prometheus incident, and I think it happens before Aliens 2 comes along,
It'll be interesting to see. Okay.
which I think it kind of wedges itself in between the
So
two.
what you're saying is it's the it's not really a prequel. It's like a side by side story with
Yes,
the other ones
yes, that are maybe potentially happening
at the same time.
concurrently.
Right,
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I could totally see if Ridley Scott says, "Yeah, that was the envisioning." Like you're not gonna have one planet that would have these things on it. You could potentially have multiple planets with this
Well,
invasion.
of course, yeah. These things look like they lay eggs everywhere.
And I think it's possibly where he may go with this and say, "Yeah, they are concurrent. They're happening at the same time."
And if you watch Predators versus Aliens, they're already on Earth already. So
Well, this is true.
A long time ago in the
right,
past.
right.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
So-
God, I hate those Predator versus Aliens movies. Here's the thing. I didn't despise... I saw one in the theater. Didn't despise it. It was cheesy, but I got to admit, the first time they fought, I was like, okay, they did that scene really well. I liked some of the tricks about the fact that the whole place was... they had a chained up alien that was living in the basement. And I love the Predator ship that came in super silent and dug a tunnel in like half a second. And I thought they were neat things, but the whole human plot lines are kind of stupid. And
I would have just. That almost would have been better if they just left the humans out of it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought it
And
might
that's
have
what
actually made it better.
But they're not brave enough to do that. No movie studio will make a Predator versus Aliens movie that has no dialogue, and which would be an incredible movie to just be the
Oh,
two
I think it would be.
species. You'd get enough out of the Predators and associate with them enough that you'd know there's culture and stuff going on,
Well-
but they won't do it.
what I'd like to have seen with the Predator versus Aliens stuff would be like the little like flashback scene where they show the Incans
yeah.
people and all that
Yeah.
they fed to the xenomorphs.
Right.
Right. I'd like to see it go back to then and basically have the
And you
fight.
can still do that with very limited dialogue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And have the fight between the Predators and Aliens. With,
Yeah.
You
And then I saw Requiem. That
Requiem,
was the second Predator versus Alien movie.
Oh, yeah.
where
Is that the one they left in a? One of them they left in a cliffhanger.
Well, it ends with
they had
the Pred alien.
Yeah, the Pred alien being born.
I think that's
Right?
Oh, I
Requiem.
thought the Predator Alien was at the end of the
the first one.
first.
No,
No, I'm pretty sure it was the end of Requiem.
No, it was in the alien ship when they took.
because I remember they fought the Queen, which I thought was a great scene. The Queen on the ice, running
Right.
through like the shacks. It was
Yep.
kind of foggy. That scene was awesomely done. I got to
Right.
admit. And maybe you're right.
When they brought the body of the one warrior that got killed,
yeah.
and they put him in the
Table, and then you see the
Right.
shot with Earth in the distance.
And it-
So that was one.
yeah,
Okay.
the chest burster comes out.
But
The
we've
second
never-
one was like a bunch of there was high school kids and
Right.
the town was being overrun,
That's
like
right, yeah.
Washington State, and I just remember being like, "Oh, that was bad."
But
it made no sense. Like how did they get there?
yeah,
I'm still upset about the Predator alien. Like we didn't explore that anymore. Like I liked that idea.
the Pred alien.
Yeah, the Pred alien, whatever you want to call it, but we never explored it. We stopped there, and you had this amazing moment,
And this
that
is-
could have turned into something cool.
And this is why, bringing it back around, I have trouble with another Alien movie. He wants it to go back to horror. He wants you to be scared of these things. And yet we've seen all the rubber suit fighting Predator, and it's hard. Once you have Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and the Mummy, it's hard to make a Frankenstein and Mummy scary again
Right.
2 years, 5 years, 8 years later.
you're right.
You need like 20 years until film kind of comes around again to do it. So it's, to me, I have trouble with it because now the alien is just so recognizable and known. Yeah, he's a good director. Maybe he can do it, but I think it doesn't sit well with me.
I think the other thing too that maybe bothered you a little bit, and this is the one thing that bothered me about seeing that trailer, the aliens out in broad daylight. I mean, that was the one thing that we always enjoyed about the Alien and Aliens movie, is they were always kind of in shadow. You never really fully saw an alien 100% until like 3
Yeah.
and 4, and you finally started getting full glimpses. Well, 2, I guess you did because of the Queen.
The Queen you got to see well, but I remember
Right.
the best shot you got of an alien in Aliens, James Cameron's movie with Bill Paxton,
Right.
was when Newt was in the water and it rises
Right.
up behind her. You get about a 1.5 second shot of it really well.
Right, really, yep.
Other than that, he looked above the ceiling, you saw their heads really cool. But other than that, they moved quickly. We're always kind of dark. We're always kind of filmed shutterly.
Right, or you were looking through a camera through one of the Marines or
Yeah.
something like that, and you just saw glimpses.
No, I disagree with you because that's what I want to see is what the alien actually looks like and everything.
You want to see the full alien
Yeah.
and see what it looks
Right.
like. Okay, I mean,
And
it's...
it is a cool scene. I'll give you
Yeah.
the shot is nice.
Yeah, if it head banging the window is kind of cool.
Yeah, but it also, I think it's CGI, and it felt
Yeah, it
to
looks
me,
like
it didn't feel like it was hitting the window. I didn't
Yeah.
feel I didn't feel the impact behind it.
Here's the one interesting thing I thought was interesting that they're saying is going to happen in this movie. Not only are they going to have aliens, not only are they going to have like the original, gutbuster, what are those things called? The
Chest burster. Face huggers to the chest bursters.
But they've guaranteed in this one they're going to show adolescent aliens, like ones that have not fully.
I think we saw it in the trailer.
And I'm pretty sure that's what the
There's someone
yellowish
fighting,
white one is
in a field.
Which I'm like, that actually might be cool to see, because we always see the chest buster and we always see the full grown alien adult, but we never see like the on the way to becoming an adult. Like, what do they look like from one to the other? And it would be kind of cool to check that out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe that's one of the ones we could review sometime.
Yeah,
Take
I
a
mean,
look at
I'll
it.
see Prometheus, and then I'll probably see this. But I don't have the level of excitement
I get what you're
I
saying.
used to for Alien.
Yeah. I don't know if you can ever redo Aliens 2 for me. I mean,
No.
it's just, unless you decide to bring the Marine. I mean, to me, the Marines sold that whole movie.
Yeah.
You would almost need to do something like that style again to get me to totally hop into an Aliens movie.
It was also Cameron's quote unquote realism.
Yeah.
His approach to it, to like the way he made you like the characters in the first like 30 minutes of the movie
Right.
with the humor and
Yep.
seeing the work, the way they do it, and getting the sense that you were part of this crew. And then wiping them out on you and gut punching you there, and then
Yeah.
pulling you into the more horror of the second half.
And I
where they're
even
trapped.
like the fact that you had Burke and kind of some
Yeah.
snakes in the grass behind the scenes that were kind of screwing around with everybody, and I
Yeah.
think that was kind of enjoyable actually.
But now it just looks like, oh, here comes a disposable crew. Everyone's going to die. They land on another planet.
Well, I think-
aliens attack.
I think they're going back to the original Alien, like that feel. But I
Yeah.
don't think they need to do that. I think that's been done.
Now it does seem interesting to me. There's one line in the whole, or two lines in the whole trailer that imply something much bigger.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's the whole, there's no noise. There's
Right.
no animals. There's no nothing. What's going on this planet that it's like lifeless? The aliens wouldn't kill off everything.
I took
So
it more
I'm-
as like when creatures sense there's danger around, they don't.
Yeah, it goes
Right?
silent.
So that's kind of what I implied it as. Like the aliens were maybe so dangerous that all the other animals decided, yeah,
Like they move away from that
Right,
area entirely.
right,
And maybe that's
exactly.
what it is. But it's
I
a
think
creepy moment.
It is kind of a creepy moment. Yeah.
What it is the animals are sensing the predator that's invisible
There you go.
and is watching. That's what's
Maybe
going
that's the magic ending. Okay, so that was our thoughts on the Alien trailer. We then watched a trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This is now the third trailer for
Probably
Guardians
the- probably
of
the
the
last one we're
I'm
getting.
imagining probably the last one before the actual movie comes out. What were you guys thinking about this trailer? I mean, this one definitely had a lot more going on. I mean, as far as looking at trailers, does it? And Gary, I know you're not excited to see Guardians. Does this at least pique your interest a little bit?
No, like I said when we were coming to record, is that I saw it, but it really hasn't done nothing for me to go watch it.
Now, you enjoyed the first Guardians movie,
Yes, I
correct?
did.
What sold you on that movie?
Probably the soundtrack.
I was about to say, I think the music sold you, right?
Right.
So do you think if the soundtrack's relatively like the last one, you're going to get sold on this one?
Yeah, it'd be like me spend $10 to watch a concert. That's all it's going to be.
I mean, I have to admit, like, I worked out to that soundtrack for months after that fact.
But here's the problem with it. I can't listen to that one song no more.
Which one?
Hooked on a Feeling?
Yeah.
Oh.
That one and the one he's singing at the end, they're trying to get the dance off with.
Oh, yeah.
Those two songs are overplayed now.
Oh, I agree with you. Actually, all of them in that soundtrack got overplayed, I think.
Just
The
those
Pina
two.
Colada song, I thought it got overplayed
Well,
quite a bit, too.
that was overplayed way before.
Right, well, it was, but it was even
in
more
the
so
movie.
when Guardians came out. I heard the soundtrack is supposed to be incredible again. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a throwback to our era again, which is okay. But, I I guess I wonder sometimes if we're relying too much on the tape player and the soundtrack to put everything into place.
There is something this one has going for it. And they've been saying over and over again, James Gunn keeps saying, it doesn't really tie in with the rest of the Marvel movies. We get to do our own thing, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. They've already started filming Infinity War.
Right.
And more than half of this cast has already been on set for it. So it's clear it connects.
Well, the one video we watched last week with Daisy Ridley in it.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt says, I'm in an Avenger movie.
Yeah, he admits to it. But now they've been others. Mantis apparently has been there. I think Batista has been there. Maybe even Gamora. I don't know. And obviously, Rocket's easy to do because they're going to be Rocket and Groot are going to be digital, so they're going to
right. So they don't need to be on set
or all the cast. Even Yondu. Right. Yondu has apparently been seen on the casting calls.
I'm getting the impression from all the trailers we've seen that by the end of this movie, Yondu is going to become a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it's pretty obvious that that's where they're going.
Well, he's a founding member.
Well, he was, yeah. Initially, he was in the comic books I'm talking about. So if you haven't read the comics, go check it out. Yondu was a member.
I do like the humor again. I do. It's kind of they do harp on. We're going to save the galaxy a second time. So I'm wondering what the big bad is in this one because there were such cool things in the first one with Ronan the Accuser, with the Celestial Head, the floating in space. I can't remember what it was called. What was the name? Nowhere. Spelled Nknow. There was a lot of cool things that were. There were major Marvel cameos in that movie. The Celestials were shown in a flashback.
Even Howard the Duck.
I mean, all sorts of stuff. Cosmo. The Collector, who is apparently in both Thor, and I think the Collector is supposed to appear in Infinity War. So, they tie in without directly tying in. It's like, we get to show all these Marvel references. I mean, I remember thinking that movie had more Marvel references than most of the other Marvel movies. They were just all cosmic ones, which none of the others could really touch on. So they're going to do that more, I think, in this one, and I'm really fascinated to see that. I do admit, though, that little moments like when Baby Groot's waving to Gamora right in the middle of a fight, and she's like, "Hi," and goes back to fighting. I thought that was really like cute, a nice moment. So it's like, I'm hoping it goes really well.
I think there is a direct tie, and I'm going to say this, and it's not going to ruin anything for you guys. What's the one stone we're missing? There's actually 2 stones we're missing.
Yeah, there's 2 that haven't been called up yet. Is it the Mind? No, the Mind Stone is Vision.
Right.
I don't know. I remember I've seen a video on it, and they've announced the 2, but I can't remember which they are.
We're missing the Space Stone.
Okay. Time Stone?
The Time Stone, excuse me, yeah. We had it, but we lost it. Do you remember where that was?
No, go ahead.
The Tesseract was the Time Stone.
No, the Tesseract... Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
but where did it go?
It went into the ocean.
No.
I thought they recovered that.
No.
And then Loki got it.
No.
Loki had it in Avengers, and then at the end...
Different stone. It got shot into space when Red Skull grabbed it, and it imploded and took him with it.
Well, I remember that happening, yeah.
I believe it was the first Avengers movie when Captain America gets revived there. Tony Stark went and got it out of the ocean.
I do think there's a moment of that being recovered.
But I don't think that's the Time Stone that they're getting.
It was a Tesseract.
That's why Loki. Because Loki's first thing to do is to grab the Tesseract.
But
when he comes in.
Here's my thing.
Because Captain America told Nick Fury you should have left it there.
Here's what I think is going to happen, though, and I'm convinced of this. Maybe it's not the Time Stone, but somewhere along. I think Red Skull is going to appear.
Oh yeah, I think so.
In Guardians of the Galaxy in space. And I believe that is going to be a moment that's going to start changing, altering everything else that happens after it. Because we've all assumed Hydra's dead. Because as of Winter Soldier, it appears Hydra's gone. Right? I don't think Hydra's dead. I don't think the Red Skull's as far gone as everybody has assumed the Red Skull is.
No, because I assumed during Civil War that Hydra is still...
You get the impression it's still around.
Yeah,
well, that was...
And let's face it...
That's what Ward, as that was the guy with Ward, when Ward became the creature there, I can't remember its name, they were trying to rebuild Hydra.
Correct. But then they got supposedly beaten. I know you haven't watched that part yet, but they got supposedly beaten. Hive was his name.
Yeah, Hive.
He was Hive. And that's where I'm saying, like, you've got Zemo from the last movie. You've got potentially out there somewhere... a potential Red Skull, which I think he's going to show up.
I think he will.
I think the ability to bring Hydra all back together, even with Hive, even with Zemo, all could potentially happen again. And there's hints of it in places. There's little things here and there that hint at it.
All I know is, and we're supposed to be talking Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know, but it all comes back. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm nervous for the Avengers Infinity War because it's so big. It's going to be the most expensive movie ever made. They've already said that.
It's going to be intense.
They've already said the budget's going to probably be around $500 million.
Crazy.
The cast is gigantic.
Yep.
And this is not including the fact that I'm wondering if some of the TV and Netflix stuff will cross over.
Oh, I think so.
It's going to be huge, and is it going to become... I have faith in the Russo brothers. They handled a lot of characters with Civil War really well.
Yep.
But I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Could this finally be when Marvel overstretches its bounds and makes something that becomes too disconnected and too...
I actually think we're going to go the other direction on it. This is where I'm faithful in what's going to happen here. I think it's going to create such a high bar, no one is going to be able to meet it ever, ever, ever again. I think, first off, I think it's going to crush DC. This will be the beginning of the end of DC in movies ever.
Well...
Because I think it'll be the moment
Batman
where...
vs. Superman was already well on its way.
Well, yeah. Well, I agree
My
with
opinion.
you. I agree with you there. But I'm saying this is going to be so astronomically big that it's just going to be like, don't even bother trying to touch them because they can't. They can't even come close. And I really, truly believe between Infinity War 1 and 2, we're going to see probably just an incredible...
Well, it's no longer Infinity War 2.
Well, whatever,
that's the other thing.
right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
There's some sort of surprise there.
I think it's going to be pretty incredible. I really do.
Well, and this is why I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I do believe this is going to be a kickoff point
for the next round
to kind of be bringing all that in.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
we got we got Thor later this year,
Yep.
and what's this summer? I'm forgetting one. Miss Marvel I know is coming, but I know we've got Thor.
I thought this summer was Thor, and then Miss Marvel was in the fall.
Thor I think is November.
Okay. Are we missing one?
I think it's Guardians and Thor.
That's what I thought so too.
I thought there was one in between.
No, I don't think so. We got our in between, which was Doctor Strange. We got Doctor Strange, then Guardians, and Thor.
All right, we'll have to check.
So I'm pretty sure that's the case. So, but I mean, either way, it's building up to that. I mean,
right. I'm fearful that it's going to be Spider-Man 3.
That's what we've got this summer. We got Homecoming.
Yeah, that's right.
Spider-Man.
That's the one I'm forgetting.
Well, oh, you're fearful of Spider-Man 3? Is that
no,
what you're saying?
I'm thinking this is going to be the Spider-Man 3.
Avengers will be overloaded and they won't be able to handle it.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I mean, it's going to be so many people on the screen you don't know who to watch.
But here's the thing they have the benefit for. I don't think other than Thanos, who we'll finally see, there's no character introductions happening like they had to do with Spider-Man.
They can focus purely
They had to do
on-
origins for everybody in
Right.
Spider-Man 3, practically. And what we don't have to, any of these characters, they're all established. It's just, they can come in and do their thing and you don't have to go, who's that or where's he from? You know them all.
The
It's true.
problem I saw with Spider-Man 3 is they should have just kept it to one villain.
Yeah, it would have been nicer. Venom was a shoe-in. They shoehorned him in. He was so quick and unexplained. And
Especially,
You know, they should have just kept with the Sandman, and then maybe he gets the black suit and he uses the black suit to defeat the Sandman, and then
don't make Venom happen that movie. Yeah,
right.
But they rushed it.
Yep.
And that's why I think DC's failing because they're rushing it.
But
everyone's playing catch up.
But that's where I have faith. They have hinted at a million times over. Thanos is the big baddie. I don't think you're going to have anybody else.
No,
I think it's going to be Thanos.
Okay,
and
Thanos going to be the bad guy. All right, that's the only person that I'll be probably watching because there's going to be too many heroes on the screen.
Oh, I get what you're saying. You're talking about the other side of having too many. And that's the weird thing. I think you can have too many villains. I'm not sure if you can have too many here. I guess that's going to be the test, isn't it? Can you have too many heroes? So I want to ask you guys before we move on to our next thing, a quick question. Have you heard about the stipulation that Logan, the guy who's playing Wolverine,
yes, I have.
Hugh Jackman, the stipulation Hugh Jackman has put on if he's gonna do Wolverine again? What's the stipulation?
I haven't read the article, but I've seen the title.
He will stay as Wolverine as long as Wolverine joins the Avengers.
Oh, I heard about that. Yes.
I love it. Yeah. I hope
he wants it.
I really hope to goodness creation that Sony.
He wants to fight Captain America.
Yes.
He wants the big.
He wants
blades scraping the shield.
I also think he wants that Hulk Wolverine moment too.
And he wants that too.
Everybody loves to see. You know, I mean, that would be awesome.
Here's the thing. He has history of the Black Panther.
Yep.
Wolverine.
Yep.
Hulk.
Hulk. Yep.
Captain America. Even the Black Widow.
That's true. He does have history of Black Widow. Yeah. So there's quite a bit of history they could work with.
And what, the one thing I want to see is the iconic cover.
Yeah, the yellow and
No.
the
Wolverine, Captain America, and Black
Hitting the
Widow
shield. Oh,
on top of the rooftop.
yeah.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah. That would be cool. I would love to see that. And the question, I guess the only real question is, would Sony let it happen?
Well,
it's hard to merge those universes now.
I don't know.
I don't think so, because
I don't think so.
when you see the trailer, it's Marvel Studios is the main.
For Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's why they
Yeah.
reset the timeline with it.
I think so.
Because it would be really easy for them to throw Wolverine in then, and they
Yeah.
could use that.
Which, by the way,
timeline.
I have friends who've seen Logan, and they're saying it's spectacular.
I'm hearing it's nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, which I loathe to move on and talk about, but we're going to talk about it. Eric posted this on my Facebook page, and I didn't read more than 5 minutes into it, and I was like, oh, Eric. Oh, you rat bastard. Okay, so Aftermath, Empire's End, is talking about the future of the Star Wars franchise.
I believe it's the last. It's the last of the trilogy of the Aftermath books that bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi.
I know my Gary's
and Force Awakens.
for my video people. They hint at the idea that Shatterpoints
Are back in canon.
are going to become canon again. Thank you, whoever the heck decided that'd be a great idea. I'm telling you, somebody somewhere says we got to play with the host of the GalaxyCast and bring Shatterpoints back. And Filoni over there had to make this one happen. Well, and what they're saying is in the book, Palpatine quotes the idea that there's uncertainty about the future and that he can sense weakness, and then he literally says, I sense a shatter point. He's talking about a shatter point in time that could break the future. But just because he said the word shatter point, everybody went, that's it, they're back in canon. I went, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not convinced shatter points are suddenly back, so I don't know if we can find
To those of our
shatter
fans,
points
to those
in
of our
Mando's
listeners who don't
armor.
know what shatter points are, explain really quickly.
It's supposedly a point which you can find weakness in either something else or someplace else.
And who was a master of it?
Well, Mace Windu was a master of Shatterpoint. Supposedly he could find the weakness in Mando's armor, hit the armor in the right spot, and it would shatter the Beskar Gam, the Mandalorian armor, which was supposed to be impenetrable by lightsabers.
There we go, okay.
So that's my big beef about Shatterpoints. And so that's why I'm saying I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that, based on that quote, that they're bringing an actual Shatterpoint back.
Is it just a little allusion to something from the past, and he used the term?
When I read this thing, they were saying that Palpatine could see the Shatterpoints like Mace Windu could.
Correct.
And that Palpatine's Shatterpoint was Anakin.
Right. Yes, I remember them saying that. And they are.
All I know is if Snoke utters the word Shatterpoint
I'm done.
in Episode 8, you're getting from walking out.
Oh my gosh, I am so done with Star Wars. So let's talk about the second point.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Gary, go ahead. You wanted to say something else.
Well, you're going to get up and do your Sam Jackson impersonation, get these
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay, so the second point, the legacy of Boba Fett. So there is the hint that Boba Fett did survive Return of the Jedi, which we all know. I don't know why that was such a Well,
it's canon in what's been non-canon.
Right.
So now people are wondering, in this new canon, is he still considered alive?
Well, and Disney has said that as far as they were concerned, he's alive. They've actually hinted at it. Well, now apparently in this particular book, we definitely see that somebody's looking for the armor.
Yeah, to quote the article, it says, in Aftermath, we learned that Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor survived the Sarlacc pit unscathed, a revelation that left fans fascinated. The sequel, Life Debt, finally explained how this occurred. The destruction of the sail barge just killed the Sarlacc. When it died, the scavengers flocked and they got the armor. It says, meanwhile, in the trilogy, that they began developing a small subplot about Tatooine, revealing that the chaos after Jabba's death and the Empire defeated Endor had given criminal gangs and slavers a chance to take over the planet. The Mandalorian armor was sought out by a mysterious, self-appointed lawman, Cobb Vanth. In Empire's End, we see his campaign come to a successful close, with the criminals and slavers defeated. So what they're saying is, who is Cobb Vanth? And there's much people considering that Cobb Vanth is Boba Fett.
So here's where I'm wondering if we could merge two storylines. I'm wondering if Cobb Vanth is the character that we talked about in the last episode that potentially Benicio del Toro is going to play.
Right,
Sir whatever.
Fulcrum,
right.
Fulcrum, not
Fett.
Fulcrum, but it was
right.
Fulcrum Fett.
Fulcrum Fett. So what if he finds the Mandalorian armor, puts it on, becomes Sir Fulcrum Fett, and Cobb Vanth is the new Fett.
Right.
And takes
But
on
it's not.
the Boba Fett.
It's never been Boba Fett, is what you're saying. It's just
That's
another
what I'm
person
saying.
who
Just another
becomes
person who
a new
becomes a new Fett just by grabbing the armor and putting it on.
The problem is that that's not something that your majority of your fans are going to like. They're going to say, look, either go for it or don't bring Boba Fett back at all. Ignore his armor. They're going to say, don't do a weird mix.
On the flip
of
side of
some
that, when
new
is
guy.
Disney ever worried about whatever the fans think? You know what I mean?
But they're doing a good job of
They
being
are-
true to the story,
Yes.
to the storylines.
Yes.
I mean, they are. I mean, we've said it with Rebels. They are really focusing in on everything with the details, with Thrawn, with the stories of the Mandalorians,
Sure.
with bringing back the Darksaber. They're like, here's all these details from canon
that we're bringing
that
back
we're bringing
slowly.
back slowly and saying they're real.
Yep.
And then with Episode 8, how much of that are we going to get?
Yep. And then the last one was the return of Lando Calrissian. Lando shows up in this book for the first time.
Yes.
Since all the other books have been out and all those other things. And there are rumors that Billy D is set to play Lando on The Last Jedi.
Yes.
So I kind of like that idea. I actually like the idea of us bringing back not only Lando, which I like Lando to begin with, but Billy D playing the role of Lando. Again, the time would have gone by enough that Billy D kind of looks the part, you know.
Oh, he
and
would totally fit, yeah.
Totally would fit in, and I think it's kind of cool, actually, the idea that we could bring back Lando and Billy D as that role. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to see.
And everyone said it from the day one of filming when they did that famous cast reading circle shot.
Yep.
Where they had everybody sitting there. The first thing everyone said is, "Where's Billy D? Is he not in
Yeah,
Force Awakens?"
yeah,
And
why
he
wasn't he there? And a lot of people question why he wasn't there. And yeah, I agree with you. So I'm excited about Billy D potentially coming back as Lando Calrissian. It would be kind of cool to see him in The Last Jedi. I just hope they don't, let's keep it Billy D. Let's keep him the suave, sophisticated guy he is. Let's not try to change that up at all.
By the way, did you see the last part here?
No, what's that? On top of these three revelations, the book also reintroduces Lampa Waru, Chewbacca's son. Oh, great.
That means the Christmas special is canon.
Oh, no.
It was already because it was.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was on TV,
Right, because they said anything on TV was
Yep.
deemed canon.
which means the Ewok movies are too.
Lampawaru.
So Lumpy, is that what we're saying? Good night. Couldn't we come up with a better name? I mean, seriously. Anyway, so they also hint that there's some disturbing truth or hints about the disturbing truths behind Snoke's identity. I'll believe that when I see it. I can't believe they would reveal that in a book. They may. It'd be kind of stupid. They may. But, so interesting. But here we are again. We've talked about it. The books playing such a major role, the comic books playing such a major role in Star Wars. Is it really fair to the fans to do that to them? You know what I mean? Do you have to be a bookworm just to keep up with Star Wars?
I said this 2 years ago.
I know you
when
did.
I started here, and you guys were like, don't be the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
I said, with all this extra media comes out, and these are the things you've got to follow in 9 different places, the TV show, cartoon, and the books, and a comic, and a video game, and whatever, it's going to alienate us people if important needed information is revealed in only one of those areas. They really need to have their story group together to cross-pollinate so that you get what you need if you don't follow everything.
Right.
And I agreed with you because I shouldn't have to read a book to know what's going on in the
Yeah.
movie.
To know who Supreme Leader Snoke ultimately is. I swear, if they do it in a book, they're dumb. They're losing, and that's the other thing too. To me, you lose visuals when you do stuff like that. You could have had a visual showing what Snoke is, or whatever it is that would have come out of a movie, and the potentiality of that all. Okay, the last one that we are going to talk about tonight. This is an interesting one. Lucasfilm has officially trademarked Star Wars Rivals. It was
With a
officially
semicolon.
released. Yeah, Star Wars.
Not like Star Wars
Rivals.
Rebels, which is no colon. This has a colon in it. And I think
Right.
that's important.
So, there's a lot of speculation about what this is. Of course, immediately everybody jumped to, well, this must be a new Star Wars TV show. We must be missing the new Star Wars TV show, and this is it. Rivals is a TV show. And it's been registered as a word mark, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not convinced it's a TV show.
I'm not either.
There's a couple things that tell me that. First off, the idea, Rivals as an idea, it doesn't sound like a good title for a show. And if you just had Star Wars Rebels out, would you really come out with the next show being Star Wars Rivals? I mean, aren't they already still too similar to each other? I mean, for me, the two words would be too similar.
Unless they're using that as a carryover.
Maybe.
Rebels becomes Rivals.
Maybe. I'll get what you're saying. Okay.
And who would be the rivals?
The Empire.
I guess the
No.
Empire and the Rebels?
No.
Mandalorians.
No.
Me.
Ezra and Kanan.
Oh, okay. I guess I never thought of it that way. It just seems very broad. Okay. And it says that the actual trademark, it's very broad. It includes audio and visual recordings. Okay, a lot of people, I've assumed that that's an animated series. When they said audio and video, I assumed video games. Like,
Possible.
when you...
And it covers electronic
Right.
game software, downloadable publications. I mean, they covered the
computer program software, yeah. I mean, there's...
eyeglasses, sunglasses, accessories.
Wow, okay.
I mean, it's really...
Binoculars, just in case you need those binoculars.
Graduated rulers.
Wow. Really?
It kind of covers everything.
Helmets, there you go.
Flotation devices.
There we go.
Snorkels. I need my Star Wars rivals snorkel. I can't say that.
Swimming masks.
Only if it's Supreme Leader.
Snorkel.
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 Snorkel. This is interesting. Protective face mask, but not for medical purposes. So if they're for medical purposes...
not for snorkel, swimming goggles. And
not for medical purposes. Snorkels, swimming goggles, or swimming masks.
Oh, I don't get my Supreme Leader snorkel.
Yeah, you don't.
I can't have my snorkels.
So we'd love to hear what you have to say about this. What do you think Star Wars Rivals is? Do you agree with us? Sounds like most of us think it's a video game. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
I think it's going to be a video game like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah,
or the Right of Terrasai or whatever it was there.
Terrakasai, I think it was.
Terrakasi or whatever, yeah. That's what I think too, Gary. I think it's like a fighting
That's what
style
you named
video
your
game.
You named your daughter after that video game, didn't you?
Terra?
Yeah.
No. Well, there's other reasons. We'll talk about them later. Okay, so...
It was because of the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
You just spelled it wrong.
Terra, yeah. I knew we were going with that. Okay, so those were our thoughts on those four topics. Again, if you're not sure what we were talking about, the Alien Covenant trailer, the third trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that's confusing,
Yeah.
Empire's End of Aftermath, and of course the Lucasfilm trademark for Star Wars Rival. We'd love to hear from you. Head on over to our website, galaxycast.com. Hopefully it's working. And let us know what you think and tell us what you have to say about that. Click on that section, just contact us. Let us know. We want to hear from you. And with that in mind, we're going to take a break here in a moment. We're going to watch Star Wars Rebels. We'll be back with you to talk about the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels. If it's working. Okay, Videoland, we'll be back in just a moment. Hello, Videoland. We are back. I'm just testing cameras right now. Eric Johning.
Yeah, hi.
I'm not. Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
You guys realize this is episode 190? That's like incredible when you think about all we've done. Yeah, okay, killer.
I don't know what number I
Just to get out of the way.
started at when I became a regular.
And that was Bob Young.
That was me on. I don't do it often, so. Okay, ready? Hang on. You know
Let me
what I
cough.
need to do? Hang on.
What do you need me to do?
Show notes. We're gonna pull those up real quick. Kind of important, right? Be nice to know what we're talking about.
And what are these specials?
Oh, those are ones that happen.
We already saw them. Oh, yeah,
right,
old years.
They happened a while ago.
So they're listing Secret Cargo,
Double Agent Droid, Twin Sons, and 0 Hour.
4 more episodes. That could be the end of the series.
Could be.
And they haven't even introduced Obi-Wan yet. And they're going to wrap all this up in 4 episodes.
Maybe the introduction of Obi-Wan is the wrap-up.
And maybe that leads to whatever the next show is.
Right.
Rivals between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul.
Ooh. Hey, let's discuss that.
Oh, good Lord. Another time, people. Another time.
No, we'll discuss it during the show.
Okay, here we go.
Like at the end.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as we discuss the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels. This one was titled Through Imperial Eyes. Now, I gotta be honest. I was actually concerned at the beginning of the episode that the entire episode was going to be like the first 2 minutes, where we were going to be looking at the entire episode through Callus's eyes. I mean, it was titled Through Imperial Eyes.
I actually like that, though.
It was cool. I just don't know if I'd want a whole episode.
They've been
that
doing
way.
creative starts to each episode. Have you noticed that? The whole shadow play in the one episode where they were telling the history of Mandalore, through this one starting off with a first-person view.
And this episode was originally supposed to be that way.
Oh, really?
Oh, the
Yes.
whole episode?
Yes.
That would have been too much.
Yeah, a little
that-
too weird.
That's what Dave Filoni said.
Well, what was the movie recently that was like that? It was all third-person shooter style.
Hardcore Henry.
That's right, Hardcore Henry. No, don't Hardcore Henry me. That's nah.
That sounds really
I
bad.
know, right? But yeah, I would not have been happy with an episode that was like that. It does sound bad, I guess. So it was an interesting episode. I mean, there's a lot going on here. And Gary, you caught a lot of things. This is your second time watching it, I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Yep.
So you caught a lot of things that I would not have caught on a first viewing. That, again, background kind of things that were kind of cool. So we'll get into those, but let's just talk generally about what happened in the episode. We have this idea that Thrawn has now figured out that Fulcrum exists. How do you think he figured that out? We don't really get into that, do we?
They mentioned they've detected the broadcasts.
Yeah, they've
intercepted them.
Yeah, Ezra even said they think the Empire has detected your last transmission.
So he's heard the name. He has
But
the
they didn't
recording.
say how. You know what I mean?
No.
Just that they somehow intercepted the last recording. Didn't they hint at it in another episode somewhere along the way that maybe Fulcrum's recording got caught? I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly.
I thought there was something that somewhere along the way where they hinted at it.
Well, probably the one where the probe droid gets them back and blew the thing up.
That's what I'm thinking too. That they caught the message, the probe droid.
All right.
Yeah. So it's interesting that now we're in this angst of like trying to. Well, and it's interesting too that the goal ultimately for the entire episode was to get Callus off the ship and to get him back to the rebels.
Yes, he's been found out. They're getting close to him. We got to rescue him.
Right. And the assumption is that he can't continue on the way he is because he's basically been found out, and they've got to get him back. Which, I have mixed feelings about where they tried to go with that storyline because that worked and it didn't work. And even towards the end of the story, I think they wrestled with how do we end this in a way that worked but didn't work, and it just a little convoluted. I think it'd have been better if they just found out and arrested Fulcrum, and then what do the rebels do? Do they break him out? Do they, you know what I mean?
I don't think they could do that because clearly there's going to be a tie-in with the next episodes with them using him. So,
yeah, I'm almost wondering if Fulcrum's going to end up being a Fulcrum point. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, how
where
did-
they
how
wedge
did,
things around together?
how did in A New Hope they learn the location of the Rebels' secret base?
Leia told him.
Yeah.
Did she?
Well, the
Did she give
assumption
them up?
is
I don't think she.
the
She said
assumption
Dantooine,
is Leia told them.
Dantooine, yeah.
but that's not their Rebel base. She
was.
misleads them. Well, an old one. So I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
the question is, how did they know that it was on? Was the Masasi Temple there?
Oh,
on,
yeah, you have him for?
Yeah, but
The tracker on the Millennium Falcon.
oh, that's right. He's right.
Yeah, that's right.
They
They
put
track
the
him- they
tracker
track
on.
him back.
Yep.
I was thinking maybe somehow they'd tie this into that, and he.
I know
would
what
be
you're
the-
saying, yeah, and he'd be the person to tell
Yeah.
him. It'd be nice.
It'd be
a little
cool.
too clean, but so it was an interesting episode. We saw a lot of our characters. Now we're missing Zeb throughout this entire episode.
We don't have
missed
Zeb and we don't have Hera.
Hera
Or Sabine.
or Sabine,
But we had a pretty heavy
we're
Sabine
pretty
period.
sure
so-
that Sabine's gone. Though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm assuming Sabine's not coming back. I don't think we're gonna see Sabine again. At least that's my assumption. Now, on the flip side of that, we had some awesome cameos in this episode. We had the cameo of Yularen coming back, interestingly voiced by Tom Kane, the guy who did Yoda from the Clone Wars, if you didn't know that. We had Rex back. We brought AP5 back. We brought Governor Price back. We had Lieutenant List. Was List ever around before this point?
Yeah.
I think he was,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So there, we definitely brought some people back.
Particularly the Princess Leia episode.
Yeah, he was the
Oh,
one.
that's right. He
Said
was
got
the
in
one
trouble.
that got in trouble for that.
Darkin called him in the office.
Yep.
And
And we
spanked
also
him.
had Admiral Constantine show up in this episode, which we haven't seen him since season 1, I think, of Rebels,
Oh, yeah.
right? Something like that. He was the one I think was on Lothal initially, right? When we first started. So I mean, it's kind of interesting to have all these cameos and these people coming back and showing back up. What did you guys think of this idea they had to go rescue Callus? Was that a good storyline, this idea that we had to go rescue him to get him out of there in case he was found out as Fulcrum? Or was that just a pivot point,
I didn't mind it.
too convenient?
I think they're trying to save his butt, but he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to be saved, you don't think?
He doesn't feel that he's in any danger. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Do you think he's playing the role of the double agent, though?
I don't think so, because who's he answering to if Thrawn doesn't know?
Well, he could be answering directly to an Emperor's hand.
Yeah.
And
I'm-
therefore, nobody would know because it's an intelligence agent, and nobody would be in the...
It'd be a nice twist at the end of the
I think it'd
series
be cool.
that he's like he changed it in Thrawn's recording, but he knows where the rebel base is now, and he sends the people after them. And
That's what I'm saying.
It'd be
It's-
interesting, but I like Callus now to a point where I don't want to see him turn back to bad again.
Instead of an Emperor's hand, either Tarkin or Vader himself.
That would work for me, actually. Tarkin would be cool,
Right.
actually. And it would give him that strength and power that we talk about a lot in A New Hope. Of him being that dastardly and devious,
Yeah,
I guess.
ruthless and all that.
Ruthless, yeah.
Maybe it's
It would be
another
kinda
character
cool.
we haven't seen who's not as powerful as, say, Amara Jade or something, but is still working for the Emperor, and it's the Emperor's foot.
Young Jedi killer Dillian.
Dillian is the Emperor's foot. Yes!
He's actually the Emperor's stinky toe. That's what it is.
they can sense the shatter points.
Oh, good night.
There, we got it all covered now.
Yeah, we talked about shatter points earlier. No more shatter points. So, I mean, it is interesting thing to think about. The Callus could potentially be a double agent. He could be working both sides here to get information from the
And,
rebels.
well, Ezra even
to turn
wonders.
around and sell them out.
And Ezra
Ezra
wonders
brings
that
it up.
out loud.
Yeah.
He says to him in the prison, "How do I know you're not going to just turn on us again or whatever?"
He brings it up several times. I mean, and it is a valid point that he could be playing both sides of the coin here, and that's an interesting one. So, what do you guys also think about this idea that they send Ezra in, they make him look like a bounty hunter? He's not really. We all know that. Callus figures it out, in order to rescue Callus, we also send the 2 droids in.
The rescue plan was actually pretty simple to begin with.
Right.
Ezra arrives, gets captured. The 2 droids go off. They quickly download the access codes so their ship could come in and land, and they just quick exit. They're out. They fly away. It was a quick pickup, and it wasn't super complicated until Thrawn shows up.
Right.
As they've now made canon, the Chimera.
Yeah, the Chimera is now
they
canon,
announce
by the way.
his ship, and he asks to see the prisoner. So now all of the high command and the prisoner all have to be taken to his ship, and everything goes out the window.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the Chimera? I mean, I thought the Chimera was not just a regular Superstar Destroyer. Am I wrong, Gary? I thought
It didn't even look like a Superstar Destroyer. It just looked
Right.
like a regular Star
I
Destroyer.
thought it was a Super Star.
I thought it was first off. I thought it was a Superstar Destroyer, and I thought it was a Superstar Destroyer that was like teethed up to the max, from my
Right.
understanding. Like even better than Vader's in the long run, at least as far as defenses. And this one was just a regular Star Destroyer. I was like, kind of like, I don't mind them mentioning the Chimera, but man, my head.
You wanted something bigger.
Yeah, I was picturing the Chimera I know, which is this huge, maxed out super Star Destroyer that nobody could beat. I don't know. That part, I'm not saying it's disappointing to have it. At least it's back in canon, but now it's just a regular Star Destroyer instead of the ship we knew. But again, Hazan's series gone, doesn't exist anymore. I'd love to read his new book. I can't wait to read Thrawn and see if he retells the tale from a different point of view. Maybe that's a possibility.
From a certain point of view.
Let's talk about Thrawn's room, because it was full of Easter eggs all over the place. I mean, it had stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Some of it I did catch, as we were watching. Some of it Gary caught, and we rewound and watched and paused and looked. So let's talk about some of the things. First off, I didn't realize, Gary, and you pointed out the hallway leading into Thrawn's room had literally the Holy Grail
Yep.
in the hallway, which was
Yes.
kind of a nice homage to Indiana Jones. Since
And The
that's-
Last Crusade.
Yeah, and since that's all, connected to Disney and all that, why not at this point?
R2D2 and C-3PO was in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep. So on top of that, we also see in Thrawn's room some interesting things. Gary, give them your ideas about what was behind Thrawn's desk. I thought that was kind of interesting.
There were two lizards in the back. Two sculptures of lizards, I guess you could call them. And I think they might be Esau Mari from the
From the original Heir to the Empire
Right.
series. Now,
I
for those
completely think they were.
for those who don't know what the Osalamari are, and everybody argues about how do you say it? Why Salamari? Yosalamari?
I've always said yes, Salamari.
Some people say Yosalamari. Yeah, I've always said Osalamari, kind of like Gary does.
Or when I first read it, Weiss Salami.
White
Why
salami.
Yeah. They're supposed to be creatures that negate
The Force.
the Force. They really don't explain how it happens, right? They just know that they kind of negate the field the Force creates that gives Jedis their power.
It's like they feed upon it.
Right. Yeah, they like suck your power away from you. It's interesting to propose that those are those creatures, and if they are, suddenly we might have a thing that implies that the Force is not infinitely powerful, which I like that idea. And that's why I like the Thrawn series. Because, Jedis were always kind of these almost godlike creatures that could do anything, convince anyone of anything. And to have a creature that could actually negate that and take their power away, that was kind of cool. In the books, at least. So let's see if that plays out in the show.
Right.
Well, of course, we don't know. This could be the end of the show, and maybe it's not going to play out anywhere.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting thing to think about. We also caught in that room several things. There was a clone helmet.
Yeah, General Grease.
Grease helmet, the green one. Yep, specifically.
The one that Yoda chopped off.
Correct. So that it's interesting that Thrawn has that particular helmet. I thought it was interesting that in that same room, you pointed out that behind the one sculpture there was a head of one of the aliens we saw in Rogue One.
No.
Or no, The Force Awakens.
Force
sorry.
Awakens, right.
One of the pilots from The Force
One
Awakens.
of the X-Wing pilots.
Yep. Did you catch any others, Gary? Am I missing any there? I think I'm catching all of them.
I think he got them all.
I mean, we had Hera's artwork
Yep.
again. We had Sabine's artwork again, which was not a surprise.
Oh, there was also the Temple Guard helmet too. That
Oh, yeah,
Kanan
yeah.
had. There was sitting on the desk.
Yep, there was Temple Guard helmet.
And on the shoulder bells of the assassin droids, it looks like Grievous's face on them too. So.
Right, and I'm wondering if that was maybe one of Grievous's droids he built, and they just took them. You know what I mean? And
But then
that's a possibility.
you see that the officers have that same emblem and everything else. So I think it's something more Thrawn.
Yeah, maybe it's Thrawn's units
Right.
logo. Who knows? I mean, it's a possibility. It was just some cool stuff in the backgrounds of this episode if you really paid attention to what was going on. So what did you guys think of Thrawn in this episode? Did he play the part well? I mean, he was definitely dastardly and devious throughout the entire thing. Do you think he played it out well? I mean, this idea that he was looking for Fulcrum, and kind of he set up Fulcrum and then figured out who Fulcrum is because he set him up. Do you think he suspected it was Callus all along? Do you think Thrawn knew?
I think he had suspicion because even when at one point the meeting's called and there's only like the 4 or 5 people in the room,
Yeah.
he even says, "I think that Fulcrum was in the meeting, was like in there." So he had narrowed it down quite far. So I think he suspected. He suspected all of them. Whether or not he suspected Callus more, I don't know, but he suspected him.
But the thing I like about this episode of Thrawn is they showed him that he's not just a guy that's behind everybody. He can actually fight his way out of a wet paper bag.
Oh yeah,
The fact that he could fight the droids and all
Right.
that.
yeah, that was some nice fighting work, and it made him seem. I mean, he's blocking robot punches with his arms, and
Right.
he made him seem like a tough guy.
Which is one thing you haven't really seen about like Tarkin or any other major
Yeah, so
players.
now we're seeing an admiral that's not only a mental threat but a physical threat
Right.
as well. I get what you're saying. He's kind of like a best of both worlds admiral that maybe we haven't seen out of the others. I mean, let's face it, Yularen's old.
Yep.
Tarkin's fairly old at this point, and a lot of the admirals we've seen in Star Wars have been on the older side of things, and
Right.
it's
And if they were Salamari was behind his desk and all that,
yeah.
maybe that's why the Emperor gets rid of him too.
And
It's a
it might
threat-
be.
it's a threat
He's
to them.
a threat to the dark side because I mean, Salamari work on both light side users and dark side users.
Yep.
Because he actually used them to control Joruus Cybiot, which
Yeah.
was the. Was he a clone of the
He was a
Emperor?
clone. No, he was a
No,
clone of an old Jedi.
Oh,
Right.
clone of a Jedi. That's right.
That had
sorry.
gone mad.
That had gone mad. Yeah. And I loved Joruus, but at the same time, I always loved the fact that Admiral Thrawn had used he manipulated him in order to be able to get him to do everything he wanted using the Salamari, which was kind of cool. What did you guys think about the ending of this episode? This idea that
I saw it coming, but it's still. The tension in this episode actually got me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was into it. I knew, none of the rebels were going to get hurt. I knew they'd probably, everyone would probably escape. I didn't know if Callus would make it out or not. But at the same point, I felt that tension of, someone's coming. How are they going to get out of this? How are they going to trick them? How are they going to blame it on somebody else? How are the mechanizations of the whole scheme going to play out? And I thought it was done pretty well in terms of the pacing and the tension and stuff like that. And the ending was, I was worried that as soon as Callus said he was going to stay, I'm like, he's found out. He's done for.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to kill him right then and there. I thought they'd just take him into captivity and be like, that's it, we're done with this, we're taking care of it. So it was interesting that Thrawn let him go, but I loved his logic behind it too, and it makes sense. He's more valuable to them as Fulcrum than he is ever as...
Well, I don't think Thrawn 100% knew that it was Callus until he had the helmet in his possession.
Right.
I think he was like percentaging it as to, was it Price? Was it really the one guy who got dragged away who seemed pretty much like a fool? So I don't
Yeah,
think he
List.
gave him much of a chance. List. Or I think he thought it could have been all three. And
Right.
seeing the helmet and making the connection with, well, that was Ezra. And then why was it not reported?
Do you guys ever get the
Connected.
impression that Price was ever on his list of potential suspects? Like, I almost thought he wrote...
He said suspect everyone.
He did, but I almost felt like he wrote Price off pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe.
Well, I think he might have suspected her just like maybe like 1%. There's always that chance.
yeah.
But she has proven herself numerous times for him, so it's...
I guess it's true. Ultimately, there's been a couple times where she's proven that she's worthy of the trust that he needs to have. And here's the other interesting thing. Do you guys think Yularen figured it out as soon as Thrawn did? Like, Yularen kind of acted surprised at the end, but I'm sitting there going, you shouldn't be surprised considering what you observed on the deck as they were escaping. I thought Yularen actually already knew it.
I thought he already knew too, because it seemed pretty clear. I mean, he wasn't up close, so he didn't know why Price was fighting a stormtrooper, why List shot Price, why,
Right.
there was a number of things going on, and viewed from a distance, it would be confusing. But the moment he realized that was the rebels escaping, if he had seen Callus standing there and them just flying off and there being a conversation between them, I would think at that point he'd be like, and then
Yeah,
finding
it's
out that's the
definitely
rebels,
him,
he'd be
yeah.
like, well, he let him go, and then knowing.
I don't think he saw all that, though. So he just watched where Price
fight.
was fighting with,
Right.
with the stormtroopers and all that.
Because he did show up downstairs not long after, so he could have moved away during that final bit coming downstairs.
Coming down the stairs and grabbing
So
Stormtrooper.
I think the helmet was the clincher for everybody.
Yeah.
Once Thrawn put the pieces together.
Did you like that idea that Thrawn was able to interpret the helmet and figure out... See, now to me, that was quintessential Thrawn.
Yeah, it ties into his love of the art, and he
Yeah.
can recognize an artist by their strokes, by their painting style.
Which I like. I think that's one of the cool characteristics of Thrawn, is the ability for him to be able to pick up on people and know who they are through their art. Okay, so I guess we could take a minute. We all kind of have hinted at where we're at with this episode. Let's take a minute and rate this one. So 0 is a don't bother, 10 is being a must-see. Anybody want to volunteer to go first on this one?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Gary.
You both are sitting down.
Yeah, I am.
I'm giving it an 8.
Wow.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
I liked everything with the Thrawn fighting with the droids, showing how dangerous he actually is in combat. Not only hand-to-hand combat, but also with the blasters and stuff.
Yep.
All the Easter eggs that were in his
Office.
office there. Even the Star Tour shuttle.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. We didn't mention that.
Yeah, we didn't.
For those who's listening, when Ezra is escaping Lothal to pretend to be and purposely get caught pretending to be a bounty hunter, he's riding in a shuttle that is from the Star Tours from Disney.
It is the shuttle from Star Tours. Yep.
And to me, it was a good episode. Even with where Kallus was swapping out code cylinders and everything. It was pretty ingenious, I thought.
Okay. Eric, what would you rate this one in?
I'm also going to give it a solid 8.
Okay.
To me, the writing in this episode was definitely A game, and this is why. They had a lot of complex twists, turns, and I used the term before, mechanizations, but basically the overall way everything would function. They had to convey all the twists and turns of who was who, how information was being conveyed, picked up, codes that couldn't be retrieved in some places, could be in others, who was suspecting who at the time, how Kallus played List to follow the governor there, what's her name? Price. And to play him while doing something else, and to hide the planet, and the mistrust between them, and then, blaming it all on List, but then Price kind of figuring some stuff out and attacking the rebels, and then, I mean, there was literally a lot of information. This was an information overload episode. A lot happened, almost like an Agatha Christie book. A lot of twists, turns, and stuff like that. But it was never hard to follow. You knew what was going on. You knew where they were. You knew what information was being conveyed. You knew who thought what and suspected what. And the nice touch at the end of Thrawn putting the pieces together because the helmet got left behind, making the final connection. I just think they did a really good job of conveying what on paper probably seemed like a ridiculously complex episode in terms of keeping it all straight. It flowed really smoothly, and never once was I like, wait, what? Who's? Why are they going in this room? Who's doing this? What's going on there? It all flowed so smoothly for such a complex episode, and ended with a nice gut punch of Kallus is there. Like I said, I kind of grown to like him, and now he's basically Thrawn's puppet, and they could destroy him at any point they want, and they could use him to damage things. And so it had that kind of dark ending.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a really well-written episode. So to me, the actual writing of it and the ideas behind it are excellently put together. And we always say how important is it to overall arc. If you didn't see this episode, how lost would you be later? I think you'd be very lost because a lot happened in this episode in terms of importance.
Well, a lot of information was gained and handed out throughout this episode, too.
So it's important to see this episode so you know where all these characters are going forward. This is not going to be a forgettable, like we said, droid bomb episode or whatever that's not important. This was a hinge point.
Yeah,
so
they packed a lot of information in this episode without rushing everything.
Yeah, it just amazed me how smoothly it all flowed. So I have to give it a solid 8.
I'm going to give it a 7. I know I'm a little lower than you guys. There's a couple things I didn't particularly like about this episode. And they may be nitpicky, but they are things that bothered me. First off, it seemed really easy for the droids to be able to access control panels everywhere on the ship. Just a little too easy. They go right into Thrawn's room and hook right into it.
Well, look at R2. Everywhere he goes.
Well, I've always had that problem, too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you would think even with our modern technology, there'd be encryptions or something in there. Or
which to answer your question on that, remember the bunker on Endor.
Oh, I know.
He gets zapped.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often.
Well, it took that long all the way to the Return of the Jedi to figure out that.
Well, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot while he was.
Yeah, well, he also plugged into the one.
Oh, he did get zapped.
He got zapped, yeah.
That's right.
So,
well, here's the other thing. He had with him, Chopper had the other droid with him, who's an Imperial droid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So there
was help there.
There was potential that he could have played a role, and yet I felt like he was almost
He did get delegated to, like, guard duty.
Yeah, he was kind of a tertiary character where he could have actually played a more major role as an Imperial droid. So I wanted more.
It was a great line at the beginning, though, when he got himself to be brought along. He knew he had to be there, or else they were going to be trapped. If the droids didn't go, there was no getting off Thrawn's ship.
Right.
And he had that excellent moment of, it's protocol for us to, record the stealing. We recorded the stealing of the ship, and it's protocol for us to give that information.
Testimony. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, come with us. And I thought that was a great moment.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool moment.
And the other moment with him was when he said that Grand Admiral Thrawn's coming to his.
Yeah.
They'll stop him. I don't think I can do that because he's
Yeah.
at the door.
Yeah,
I do like that
was
droid.
kind of-
I like that droid's voice. I really
and he's
do.
got some humor in him at times, that does make you laugh a little bit. The other thing I thought that could have been handled better, the way we handled Kanan and
Rex.
bringing on Rex just seemed a little clunky. Okay, so they don't have codes, so quick, let's go get some codes.
Right.
And if they were codes that they
Well,
really
they
got
needed-
from Thrawn's computer, wouldn't they have been cleared pretty easily? I mean, like
They needed the codes anyway to get on even the first Star Destroyer they were on. The
Yep.
codes were always part of the plan, but the problem was when they got brought to Thrawn's ship, they needed new codes.
well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So it was like, oh boy, this is gonna be harder too because this is different. And
But
so
they got new codes.
They
That's the
did.
part that I'm confused about. Well, I should
well, they
say
had to go,
confused.
they had to
I
go
was
to Thrawn's
disappointed in.
office to do it.
Right, but they got the codes, they transmitted them, but then they didn't work. Price knew it was them anyway, and it just seemed a little clunky.
No. What's his name was on the bridge at the time?
Yularen?
Yularen was right there on the bridge at the time when it was landing. I think he got suspicious.
Well,
Okay.
no, well, when the ship came in, they said
Yes.
that you got your permission to land and all that. That's when your alarm was like, we don't have any other shuttles coming. And all
He
that.
might have just
Okay.
seen a unique moment
Just
and got
the idea
suspicious.
of it, okay.
He's the one who said, send price
But you
down.
can see
to
where
go
that
check
is
it out.
kind of clunky.
It is,
It was a
it
little
is.
clunky to me.
Well, you also got to remember too. He's the FBI.
Oh, I know. He's the internal.
Uh,
he's the CIA
yeah.
of the situation. I get it. I totally
so
get it.
so he knows what the comings and goings of,
Yeah.
of shuttles and stuff. So
The only other thing I could have said would have made this episode at least a little bit better. Again, you have a Jedi with you, and we did get some mind tricks and stuff like that.
I like
but-
the mind trick didn't work on Price.
Right.
Was it just he didn't get it out in time? Or
I think she's got a strong mind.
okay.
Yeah, because remember, it only works on the weak-minded,
Yeah.
right? So I'm agreeing with Gary on that one. I kind of
Yeah.
assumed that too.
You'll let us go or whatever and shoot him.
Yeah, it was real quick.
Yeah, it was really quick. Yeah. So I did like that, but I wish you've got two Jedi here, and I just kind of felt like we copped out on that. You know what I
They
mean?
never ignited a lightsaber.
They never ignited a lightsaber. They could have been a little bit more than what they were. And I get maybe they weren't trying to reveal themselves as Jedi, but the mind trick worked. But there were some other things they could have done. Where's the Force?
Well, here's
push?
the other
Where's
thing. With Callus staying behind, it was a smart thing they didn't reveal who they were because then it's very
then
clear.
it becomes really clear.
So it's kind of like
maybe.
that's a smart thing to do is keep our identity secret. But they had no way. They thought Callus was going with them. So
But that's
doesn't-
my main reasons for not giving it an 8 or
Yeah.
9. That
and they're good ones.
Like I said, they're just little clunky
Yeah.
things that could have made it a
Well,
little
just
bit
remember
better.
though, Ezra's undercover as a bounty hunter. He
Right.
maybe didn't have his lightsaber.
This is
I don't
true.
think he did.
Right. And
Yeah.
so therefore, you'd have to rely on his force powers, and we all know he's not.
He did though.
Consistent.
That's how he got into Thrawn's office, which you
Right.
liked. that
Right.
He did
Right.
actually
But
use.
used, yeah.
But like I said, he's not consistent with his force
Right.
powers.
This is true. So-
you can
Unless
use-
he gets mad and
Right.
brings up red-eyed demons from a pit.
Right. And Kanan never had a chance to pull his lightsaber because he got shot.
He did get stunned immediately. He happened to be the one that got stunned first.
Right, that was true. Yep.
You know, when you're doing the Jedi mind trick, it didn't work on her because she's got a strong mind or strong
What-
will.
The only other, the one thing I was saying, like, okay, so for example, Ezra's stuck in Thrawn's office, okay, and Thrawn's like walking around the room, and this is where I was like, you could have used like one of those Jedi like, what's going on over there, and walk out
Right.
the room. Like get him to look one direction, so you and Chopper could get
Well,
out.
here's
the
the
room
other
together.
thing, and this is kind of a big moment. Thrawn shows up at his office. The stormtrooper outside the door says, "List is in there."
Right.
They open the door. There's no one in there.
And there's no list.
Where's the first place you're going to look? Like, oh, we have this giant art thing. Is there anyone
Yeah.
behind it?
Yeah.
I
I
would
wonder
think.
if List went behind that.
Is he
yeah.
behind? You'd think that.
I want to look behind that. Look underneath that.
I'd look under the desk first, but you'd think they'd check
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah.
They don't. He just goes over and turns on his stuff.
Yep.
So it's
Turns
like
on the map of all.
turns on the
things,
map of
yeah.
all things.
Well,
so
it's
I'm like,
to see if anything was
Changed or altered,
And
yeah.
I think he knows now where the planet was.
I think he
planet
know-
it's missing.
I think he memorized all the ones that were
Exactly.
there, and as soon as he
I'm
looked
sure
at
he
it,
did.
he's like, okay, that one's different. So
I'm
that's
even
it.
wondering if like all the artwork in the room, like there's one piece of artwork from every one of those planets. Do you get what I'm saying? And so now if they changed it, he's gonna go, well, that artwork doesn't match with that planet. Now I know which planet.
He very
You know what I mean?
easily could, yeah.
It could very much line up later on, which would be interesting.
I'm thinking more of the lines. All the artwork that's in there has to do with the rebels.
Oh, themselves.
It does
yeah.
seem to, yeah, but
So,
I understand I understand those clunky points.
So-
but you do have to admit it's a feat to do such an
Oh,
information download episode and only have
correct.
a few clunky points.
Well, and to be honest, not a lot of action in this episode. Normally, when there's not a lot of action, I
I'm like 5 or below because, like, to me, when there's not a lot of action going on, I get really bored with it really quick. And this one actually was intellectually challenging.
Yes.
There was enough going on there that was like, all right, storyline. You can actually do a Rebels episode with a storyline. So that part I was okay with.
And the way I watch TV and movies, I picked all this stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But was this your second time watching it?
Yeah, but I watched it the first time. I picked everything out.
Oh,
Picked
did
all
you?
that stuff
Okay.
up the first time.
Yep.
So, those were our thoughts about Star Wars Rebels through Imperial Eyes. We'd love to hear what you have to say, so head on over to our website, GalaxyCast.com. Click on Iris' Contact Us. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this episode of Star Wars Rebels and about any episodes of Star Wars Rebels. And heck, just contact us, because we love to talk to people. So, with that, we would love for you to check it out and let us know what you think. And as we like to always say here in the Star Production Studios,
May
the Force be with those who listen.
The Shatterpoints.
Bastard. Okay, Videoland, that's it for now. By the way, if you can't find our podcast online, I apologize right now. Our website is a little wonky.
It is
will be up
undergoing.
soon. It's under construction.
Under construction.
Let's put it that way.
Under repairs.
Yeah, it should be available soon. So look in for that soon. So, everybody in Videoland, have a good night.
Bye-bye.